everyone, so I have a new makeup tutorial for you and it's featuring this guy here, which I've just filmed a video on, or which I'm just about to film a video on, but it'll be up before this video. And this is what I am touting as like this brilliant, really inexpensive dupe for the Naked palette by Urban Decay. It's by W7, which I actually hadn't heard of before Cara Pharmacy opened here in Galway, but a friend of mine told me that it has been available in like New Look and other stores like that in the past. And one of the girls I work with said that when she used to live in London about 5 years ago, you used to be able to get it over there. So it's not the newest brand, but they do this fab palette and it's in a tin thing like this that looks like this. And this is actually these are the eyeshadows that I've been wearing in my last couple of videos where I've been getting loads of compliments, so I figured I better do a tutorial on it ASAP. Now, one thing I wanted to mention as well is I am using my, where is it gone, my Tom Ford lipstick for this tutorial. Now I do add some, or I am going to add some lip liner now in a sec for the end of the tutorial, but I wanted to show you what the Crimson Noir looked like on bare lips, because me being a total wally, I didn't show it in the actual review for this guy. So this is what it looks like. You can see it's a bit brighter. It's kind of like a strawberry or cherry red. It's a really, really beautiful red, but like I said, I'm going to add lip liner so that it looks like this. And this is it with Vino lip pencil mixed in with it. So I really like to deepen it, particularly for this time of the year, but I think I'd go with it by itself when it's a bit more kind of summery, springtime. But anyhow, watch the tutorial to see how I've done all this. And if you want to see more about this guy here, I'll leave the link to the show and tell video on this below. So thanks a million for watching, guys, and I'll chat to you soon. Slán! Oh, actually, I almost forgot to tell you, I'm giving away 2 of these guys on the blog as well. So all the information for that is in the review video for this. So you'll see that below, or else just check out my blog at letsmakeablog.com. Thanks, guys. So I started off by applying a little bit of a primer to mainly the centre of my face and anywhere else I needed. Also paying some attention to the under eye area, as this tends to get dry, and I find the primer definitely helps. Then I also applied some primer to my eyelids, but remember when you're applying primer that less is more. If you apply too much, it'll actually be counterproductive and cause more creasing. Then moving on to the palette, I started with the lightest matte colour Buff and applied this to my brow bones, bringing it down a little bit further so that it would be easy for the darker colours to blend over. Next, I moved on to Sand and applied this to the inner corners of my eyes to use it as a highlighter on that darker inner area. For the main colour, I went with this gorgeous shade called Camel. It's a lovely bright gold shade, and I packed this all over the moving part of my lids. Next, I moved on to Wave, which is this gorgeous kind of coppery bronze shade, and I packed this onto the outer corners or the outer V of my lids, and I also applied a little bit just above the crease as well without going up too high. And I applied a wee bit of the same shade Wave underneath my lower lash line as well, keeping it as close to the lash hairs as possible. Then I dipped the tip of my brush back into the Camel shade, which is that gorgeous gold, and applied this to the inner third or so of my lower lash line, just around the tear duct area. Then using my Rimmel Scandalise kohl pencil, I used this to line my waterline and also to tight line the upper waterline as well. Next, I moved on from my eyeshadow shader brush to my blender brush and used this to pick up that gorgeous mid-tone matte brown called Chocolate and blended this above my crease. I also applied a little bit of this underneath the lower lash line as well. Blending is really the key to these looks, so keep blending until you have a really smoked out edge. Next, I moved back to my shader brush and picked up that really intense matte black. This was so intense that it was actually, I had to apply it to both eyes in the same go, just because there was so much black on the brush, but that's not a bad thing at all. And then I patted it onto the outer corner first, and then used my same blender brush to blow out the edge of this and just kind of blend it in with the surrounding eyeshadows. black eyeshadow was so strong that I didn't actually even need to pick up any extra product, and I just used whatever was on the brush and applied this above the crease line to darken it and apply a little bit more definition, or add a little bit more definition. Then I did pick up a clean blending brush just to blend out the very edge of all these eyeshadows. Next, I went back into the black using a very thin angled brush and applied some of this right up until the root of my lower lash line. Then for eyeliner, I used my absolute all-time favorite liquid eyeliner, and this is my Physicians Formula 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner. This isn't even available in Ireland. I bought my last 2 pens off Amazon, and it is definitely worth paying the postage for it. It is far superior to any other liquid eyeliner I own. And then I used my Estee Lauder Double Wear Mascara on both my top and bottom lashes, applying a couple of coats to each. Once the eyes were finished, I applied some concealer underneath the eye to clean up. This is by Origins and it's the Plantscription Concealer. For foundation, I used my Bobbi Brown foundation stick. I like to apply this from the brush, but if I have any redder areas or areas that need a little bit more coverage, I will apply it directly to the skin and then use the brush to buff it out. This gives really good coverage. I don't find I need any other concealer, and then I just applied a little bit with the tip of my finger onto some areas that needed a little bit more coverage. I then set all this in place with my L'Oreal Nude Magic BB powder using my Real Techniques blusher brush, which is definitely big enough for powder and gives such a lovely finish to the skin as well. I'm using my Sally Hansen lip primer before I do anything else on the face, just to give it a chance to kind of settle in on the lips. Then for eyebrows, I just groomed them in place with a spoolie and used a little bit of a pencil just to fill in any gappy areas. Then I've gone back to my trusty and much loved sculpting powder by MAC and used this to contour around the cheek area and around the nose as well. This is another Real Techniques brush for this, and I just use a very small tapered blending brush for contouring the nose. Then I applied the lighter highlight powder as a beauty powder to the rest of my cheeks. It's not quite light enough on me as a highlight, but it does add a lovely lift to the skin. To start the lips, I applied my Tom Ford Crimson Noir lipstick to the lip just from the bullet, and then perfected this with a lip brush just to make sure I got a well-defined shape. This also gives you a chance to see what it looks like on the lips without a lip liner underneath, because I knew some people were complaining about that when I did the review, so I'll link to that review below anyhow. Then I applied some Vino lip pencil, starting on the outer corners, and then worked it around the rest of the lips, just leaving the very center a little bit light to add a little bit more definition. And this finished off the look. So I hope you like this, guys. Thanks a million for watching, and I'll chat to you all really soon for another video. Slán!